Okay guys, it is time for a new update here on the Bitcoin price. I can already tell you today it is not enough to just look at the Bitcoin price. We also need to take a look at Ethereum, and especially guys, I have two on-chain datas that we need to take a look at, especially in combination with the huge liquidation spike we saw with the recent dump. Guys, stick around till the end of this video because I can already tell you we talked about this massive dump in yesterday's video. We were talking about the rising broadening wedge that was just breaking down live in my video, and I mean, I already told you that when we are breaking down out of this rising broadening wedge, that it's very likely that Bitcoin at least is going to retest here its old symmetrical triangle, and this is what is happening right now. The only thing is that now that Bitcoin got rejected of our upward sloping resistance area here of our bear flag that we talked about yesterday about that, we got perfectly rejected from our 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, the Fibonacci retracement level where Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies tend to see their dead cat bounce if a dead cat bounce occurs. And that's why we for now on the Bitcoin chart cannot really take a look at anything too closely because we just saw this super volatile move. And so far, the only important thing is that we are holding this symmetrical triangle support, which is a very weak support. It is not a great support actually to expect to hold. I really have to say that there's a big danger that this support actually won't hold. I rather think it's a little bit unlikely. But it is highly important because we need to see a higher low on the charts so we can finally expect a proper reversal. As long as we are not even seeing higher lows on the smaller time frames, and this would even correct below our low point, guys, game over for Bitcoin for sure. But how do we know now if Bitcoin is going to break down? Because I mean, we just saw this massive dump. We saw a $1,000 dump within 1 minute, a total of a 10% correction during the day. How can we now find out what is going to happen next? And for this, I will take a look at Ethereum because, as I already said, Bitcoin was so volatile yesterday that pretty much there's nothing to see in the charts besides, okay, is the support area of the 19,700 to $20,000, is that going to hold? I mean, if we're falling below 19,700, guys, I can already tell you, I will actually scale up the short position that I opened yesterday. I mean, I already took $8,000 out of this short position now in profits when we hit here our support. We are still remaining with 1.2 Bitcoin in a profit, $300,000 short position. The big potential to scale this short position up is actually on the Ethereum time frame, because, or on the Ethereum chart, because Ethereum always pretty much leads Bitcoin a little bit at least. So most of the time when we are seeing a little bit of uncertainty in Bitcoin, Ethereum tends to make the next move first into what direction the trend will follow. And what we are seeing right now on Ethereum is that we are in great danger because not only are we for the first time getting rejected off this here rising broadening wedge, right? We have this rising broadening wedge here, and we are for the first time not just dumping below support and pumping above it as we did it the last two times. No, this time actually we're seeing our first rejection. And I can already tell you that if we break now here below this old low point, especially if we maybe retest the second support and confirm it as resistance, and we break the old low point, then these two breaks of the old low points, I can already tell you these will be options not to open an Ethereum short, but to actually scale up my Bitcoin short position, because this will be the leading indicator for us to know if Bitcoin is going to fall below the 19,000, below the 20,000, below the 19,700 and $20,000 level, which I just showed you with the symmetrical triangle. So that's why I'm actually keeping an eye on Ethereum for the next 24 hours. I might as well open an Ethereum short if we are seeing a clear rejection and dump, but this is not really what I have planned right now. For now, I just want to remain in my BTC short position and potentially scale that up after we now took some profits already. Guys, what happened actually yesterday? Why did we see this massive crazy dump? We actually saw that not only on Phemex but on a lot of other exchanges, the long to short ratio shot up on the 12th of September. So we know that we had a massive FOMO in the market. The last couple of days I warned you about it. Don't get too crazy. We haven't established any bullish market structure yet. Don't get too bullish. I told you this all the last couple of days while we were while we closed our short position, while our long swing trade already started to make profits. I told you guys, be very careful. This is not a confirmed bottom yet, but still the retail, a lot of people rushed into massive long positions. We saw this massive spike up in the long to short ratio, and this is always a great opportunity for sure also for some sort of potential market manipulation when there's so many positions getting opened at the same time in the same direction. There's a huge incentive for all exchanges, but also for whales to liquidate all these people and soak up their Bitcoin. So what we have seen now with this massive dump is very interesting, because with this massive dump we actually saw some very proper long liquidations. So we now saw some liquidations. Our daily RSI is still at a range where we could say, okay, the daily RSI can still go a lot lower. On the 4-hourly time frame, the RSI can also still go lower for sure. The only thing is, like I said, horror scenario is the $18,700. If we break that to the downside, guys, I mean, I will double my short position, because I'm very sure that then in a very short amount of time we would see that final potential dump. But now, guys, let's not get too scared too soon, because for now we are bouncing. For now, Ethereum hasn't broken to the downside, and maybe we can manage to break above this resistance once again, although right now it's not all too likely. But if that happens, guys, that would be a very nice sign, and I would actually start taking some additional profits off my short trades that I would put in my swing long positions, just with a 3x leverage, as you guys know, where my liquidation price will be below the $14,000 after I double up the position when the price drops. And in that case, I will just scale up my long positions now already with the profits I'm taking out of this short trade. But now, guys, let's just keep an eye on Ethereum. There's definitely a trade opportunity today, in my opinion. And now let's also talk about this on-chain data over here. Besides the first one I just showed you, which was just something in relation to the liquidations and to a potential market manipulation move, for example, as well. But what we have seen also in the past is the realized price of the long-term hodlers in this blue line. You can see it in blue, and you can see the realized price of the short-term hodlers. And we can see that for sure the short-term hodlers always, right, they're always buying, selling, always buying, selling. So the realized price always pretty much moves with the price, while the long-term hodlers, for sure, there's a lot slower movement going on chain. So we can see that the realized price here always needs a lot longer, because actually the whales only cash out over time. They start cashing out when there is enough liquidity by the short-term holders. And what normally happens is that the short-term holders get that their realized price, the average realized price of a short-term hodler, falls below the average realized price of a long-term hodler, right? Because in theory then the long-term hodlers are still in a profit, but the short-term hodlers are pretty much going into a much lower loss in total, right? So normally we fall below the long-term hodlers realized price a lot longer, and we stay below it a lot longer, right? And we fall below it a lot deeper. And the short-term hodler realized price normally crosses the long-term hodler's realized price, although, as you guys can see, at that point the bottom was already in. At that point, at the cross, the bottom was already in. But you can see, guys, that, let me zoom in here, I know this is a later, it's a statistic from the 9th of September, but since then we have only pumped. So the short-term hodler's price will actually move up a little bit away from our long-term hodler's price. But as you guys can see, we haven't even seen the dump yet. And remember, guys, in the past, when we saw the cross, this was where we saw our last final wick to the downside, right? This was always when we saw our last final wick, boom, to the downside. And yeah, that's why, guys, I still expect this month it's a potential $16,000 to $14,000 in September as the bottom for Bitcoin. It's still something that could happen, but it's nothing that I plan to put my strategy on, because I'm just now already going into small leverage long trades, and if we go down, I scale them up, no worries about that. But if we don't go down, I also already have long positions open and a hodl portfolio, and we just made some nice profits now once again with a short hedge that increases my hodl portfolio and potentially also my long swing trades. But now, guys, I hope you enjoyed the content. I want to keep it as short as possible, although this information was filled with a lot of content. Keep an eye on the $19,700, $800 to $20,000, and especially on Ethereum, guys. Keep an eye on this two potential resistances and supports, because they will tell us more in which direction Ethereum but also Bitcoin will move in the immediate short term. Now, guys, I hope you enjoyed the content. Smash up a like, don't forget to subscribe, activate the bell, share this video with your friends, and as always, I would appreciate it if you would leave a comment down below, because this supports the channel and shows the YouTube algorithm that the content in this video is relevant right now. See you in the next one, guys. Bye.